Hello and welcome back to the best nightlife Atlanta has to offer. It's the Call of Duty League, of course, and we are here with one incredible match setting up right now. Mutineers versus OpTic LA. We're going to start with our game fuel keys to victory, of course, and it's going to be Florida up first, Nameless.
Yeah, they need to increase their pace overall, right? You see a lot of teams that are having success, they have that stable AR, but their subs are applying a ton of pressure. So you're going to need players like Havoc, like Frosty, to step it up, to increase their pace, and then they can be a dominant team in Respawn. Honestly, they have some great players.
They do indeed. They do indeed. We're going to move on right now. Game fuel keys to victory for OpTic LA. These guys have a lot of work to put in right now.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it before their last match, how JCap needed to be the player with that 1.0 to play well, but TJ had an abysmal performance map one. It seems like the chemistry is off for these guys. They need to brush off that last loss. There was a lot of talk around the community that they improved a lot in their scrims online, and they did go up against FaZe, so this is the true test, right? If they've improved a lot online, they should be able to dominate Florida. Florida hasn't looked like the most formidable opponent. This is an OpTic team with so much talent that they should be able to destroy Florida.
I'm really hoping that this is the game where they start to step up and kind of set a momentum for themselves. I feel like some of these teams have, since the start of the season, brought that momentum and have continued it throughout all of their matches, and OpTic haven't yet even set their pace at all. They haven't even turned the car on.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen teams like Ultra look a lot better here and teams making that improvement, and OpTic just hasn't been one of them. So, you know, going up against Florida, they should be able to win this on talent alone. If they lose this, then, like, you got to be concerned about these guys. You got to start thinking about making a change. They have some of the best substitute players in the entire league.
I literally was about to lean into the same thing. I think that this is a squad, if they don't look good here, you start looking for a sub, and then beyond that, you think about, I mean, substitute player. I think you start looking at a substitute player, then beyond that, I think you start thinking about potentially making the first trade that we've seen in the CDL. There's a really good player right now on the bench for Seattle. I think you try to pick up an Abel and you try to trade JCap. Personally,
yeah, that's the thing about OpTic is like they have players that are desirable for other teams, so they actually can make plays when it comes to trading around. And when you look at some of these other teams that aren't performing, it's like maybe we can't really trade one of our players because nobody wants them. Well, that's the thing about OpTic. They're talented. It's just tough that they can't put it together at this point.
And if you look at the stats right now, I've got a list of stats here for these guys. 25% match win percentage. That is the lowest which we actually have at CDL, of course. And they do have 0 points on the board. That surely has to be so pressurizing for these guys to then turn up, because there's already so much talk about them being this new OpTic Gaming roster and having that kind of legendary status to carry with them, and that they're not the real OpTic. But I mean, they're not really producing what they should be. I'm
going to make a visual representation here, right? Sometimes everything's going to look really good on paper, right? You can have a bunch of really good pieces. Look at how I dress, right? Everything individually, I think we would say is pretty great, right? But then,
how you dress?
Yeah, but then sometimes you put it all together, right? And then it's like, wait, what's going on here?
Oh, I don't know what that is. A shot. Are those Ninja Turtle shoes? Like,
wow.
Those
oh my gosh. But the thing is sometimes you put it all together and it just doesn't work at all. And I think that's what we're seeing with this roster. Individually, each piece, fantastic. You throw them together on OpTic, just doesn't.
So it's like Rich's outfit.
So it's like your outfit, yeah. Literally. Oh, that was an absolute perfect way to describe it. That was amazing. OpTic LA are like Rich Campbell's outfits. I've got to take it over now to Ben and Charles. I want to know, would you agree with that analogy?
Honestly, as much as we hate Rich's outfits as much as everybody else, I actually disagree. I really do. I think you have to take a couple of things into consideration. OpTic Gaming, who have they played? They played 2 of the best teams in the league and a Paris Legion squad, which at times looked like they could be one of the best teams in the league. So for me, I think, yes, OpTic Gaming has started slow, but the level of competition they have played is just tough. It's just unfortunate, if you will. Yes, they sit at 0 points. This is more than likely where they turn things around.
Yeah, the dust hasn't settled for the team. I think I might have heard Rich. Maybe I'm crazy. He says
he said it.
He's talking about trading JCap, and that's like super early. Like, he could come out and thrive in this series and make a lot of plays. Like, the pressure's on him, I think, in a lot of people's eyes, but it's not like TJ's played great either. Like, they are struggling as a team consistently for everyone across the board. Statistically have not been great. I think Dashy's stats look okay, but if his stats are okay, that's horrible for him. Like, you need more out of the entire team, but with the level of competition, maybe we haven't seen enough. Maybe things will start to turn around here.
And on the flip side, for Florida, you look at their record. Yes, they sit with 10 points, just 1 win. But for me, it's the subs on Florida Mutineers, the SMGs. We need more production from them.
And I will say, I'm not convinced it's an entirely sub problem as well. There might be some speed issues issues with the ARs, but with how lopsided some of these players' KDs are, obviously there's some just team orchestrated issues in Respawn right now for Florida. So this would be a great series for us to take a look at both of, like, to figure out where they stand. It'll give us a clearer picture.
Completely agree. Well, game, of course, underway. OpTic Gaming with the first 15 seconds of hill time. Still 40 seconds left. Frosty's hit the flank, though. And TJ, he's going to have to be careful. Frosty should be able to pick this kill up. Of course, he doesn't want to just needlessly throw away his life. He's also controlling that rotation towards P2. Dashy's going to challenge. Frosty says, thank you very much. Can he find number 3? It's Quavo. Shuts him down.
Quavo with a nice little shutdown, and of course, OpTic Gaming, a nice little lead they've been able to put up for themselves with the rotation. It does look like Florida's going to have the strong advantage to the backside of the hill, and this is the kind of plays we need. Havoc's got to heat up a little bit. He was able to find 2 before he falls. He saw Frosty getting a couple as well, but you're going to need to have a good hold because OpTic just had one of the best first hard points you're ever going to see on Armaza.
Rotation now starts to come through. It's the Florida Mutineers that do have control early. But watch out for a fast break from OpTic Gaming as they apply pressure to the backside of the map. Quavo leading the charge, and this is where that pressure could come in very, very quickly. I don't know if Florida's going to be ready for this. A pinch is coming in as well, but no, there's the nade. Mox shuts down TJ. Slasher for the trade. OpTic Gaming currently contesting. Now Dashy's there to support as well. This is a great stop for OpTic Gaming, but now can they find the kill? Skies with an important win. He actually gets 2. The trade comes through, but OpTic Gaming have flooded the hill and now have control.
Just enough, the perfect break that you're going to need. And look at a couple players. It's JCap who is being targeted. He's 5-1. TJ's got 5 kills right next to him as well. So a nice little start out of both of those players. And OpTic Gaming with a strong hold. 20 seconds left. They should be fine to get that, and it comes down to the rotation.
Hey, Rich, you still want to trade JCap? 6-1 start, 3 streak right now, 40 seconds of hill time. JCap doing everything for OpTic Gaming so far as now we rotate over towards P3, being Wolf in the driving seat.
Well, Havoc with a nice 2 big kills to try to get the shutdown on a couple players. You do have a very big rotation. A lot of map pressure right now on the side of Florida, and that means OpTic Gaming needs to take their time and get the 1 clean break. But Bertini actually holding it down on the top side of the map. Meanwhile, Frosty inside of the hill, trying to hold it down, well, from the hill itself.
Frostini's found himself in a very nice little spot here. As OpTic Gaming rotate, he should be able to find a couple of kills or not. Slasher shuts him down very quickly, and Havoc's left now trying to trade out those kills as they come. There's one. Quavo will fall. Florida Mutineers now getting themselves back into this game. And that's exactly what a full 60 can do. We talked about it earlier on, Chess. The way Hardpoint works this year, so often when you see a team with a lead, it just disappears before the blink of an eye.
Well, you do talk about the full 60, but TJ and Quavo actually go off to get into the hill. TJ had to win a couple big one-on-ones to make it happen, but with the close spawns, maybe Florida able to chip away and get a little bit of that scrap time. But whether or not that's the case, OpTic Gaming still a very solid lead so far in this game. And you talk about the rotation, it's Quavo. He's over there by himself, and well, a man for Florida, Mox, is working his way around back. But OpTic should be set up to get this early time.
Quavo, he's patient, should find 1 here. Mox is just trying to hold the back of the map, blocking OpTic Gaming spawn and potentially allowing Florida to spawn on him. And Quavo now gets the information. Tags him up, but Mox scrambles away. That fight now is going to come in the front of the new hill. That's the score, 122 to 50. 35 seconds left. Hardpoint, JCap attacks the stairs. There's one. Pressini will fall. JCap really having a great game so far, 12-4. Again, a minute hill time as well. JCap taking over the game.
JCap, Mr. Do-It-All, he's killing the game right now, Ben, and you're slated against some of the best competition in the game. Your stats might look bad, but that means you need to perform at some point. He is delivering just that. In OpTic Gaming, 80-point lead. It's going to continue to rise with that 10 seconds of final bit of scrap time, but once again, Florida, I mean, they've had 2 good rotations really so far. They are going to be set up over by Tunnel. They got a man already in gun. They have a man number 3 on the map, Havoc. He's going to be the cutoff guy to watch the mid-map flank. That means Skies just gets to hang out in the hill.
This is now where you really want to see Florida get a bit of time. Managed to come back a little bit. Mox having a slow game so far, 5-6, 13-second hill time. Really not had much to do so far, but Skies at the back will find 1. Quavo putting pressure. Frosty there for the trades, though. He'll find 2. Good hold so far from Florida. This is exactly what they need.
Good hold so far, but OpTic Gaming, you see just all the pressure in the world. They managed to get players to creep through and get all the way in the back. You block those spawns, and then the break will eventually come through. So very nice job by OpTic Gaming, who, well, are going to be poised up to take these final 20 seconds to effectively extend their lead. Anytime Florida has had that early rotation, OpTic Gaming eventually will break through and make the hill a 50-50. Anytime OpTic has been getting that early rotation, it's just been dominant.
Yeah, it's really the tale of how game 1 has gone so far. Dashi spots out Sky's cross map, but he'll win that gunfight. Meanwhile, Slasher maybe left to support his teammate inside the hill. That's going to be JCap. He has his angles. JCap doesn't necessarily need to challenge, but he's feeling confident, as you would with his current stat line of 16 and 7. Now being able to push forward. Slasher, of course, will pick up that hill time. He'll find one to his name as well. OpTic Gaming putting on a clinic here in game 1.
And if you talk about the stat line, this is absurd from Florida. You have Mox with 15 total engagements. You have Frosty with 18 kills. It's not as if Mox is the one sitting inside the hill. That's actually going to be Frosty as well. You just have one man on the team that is so much like he's just not there.
Right.
I don't know where he is on the map. We've seen him at times like he's the one blocking spawns and like doing his job, but overall the productivity from the team as a whole is not there. There's some sort of issue with this.
I mean, you mentioned, is it a pacing issue? Well, I think that's your answer, right? When you look at the engagements that Mox is having, it's just nowhere near the rest of his team. Doesn't help, of course. He's double negative himself at 10 and 20, 15 seconds hill time. They're being outslayed. Just overall, OpTic Gaming, the way they've rotated around the map has been flawless, but more importantly, the speed of which they're breaking these hills is just impressive.
I mean, they're making it look too easy. And just to harp on the kind of the pacing thing for Florida, like, I don't know if this is strategies that they've talked about and they want Mox doing these certain things on the map, but if that's the case, it's not like it's really paying dividends for the team right now. Like, especially on this map, they've been getting completely bullied out. So I just think it's something they really need to take a deep dive into, something to reevaluate. But of course, for OpTic Gaming, keep it full speed ahead. Things are going well. You got Slasher in the back. You got TJ popping kills all over the place. Just build that momentum further and further into the series and try to end this game as quickly as possible.
This is the OpTic Gaming. I'm sure the OpTic LA fans want to see a dominant one at that. 100-point lead as things stand with 15 seconds left on this hill before we rotate. TJ's picking up a double. The scrap time belongs to him. You can see on the minimap teammates already rotated as well. OpTic Gaming should close it out here.
Looking to close it out, try to get these final couple kills, maybe even pad the stats just a little bit more. You see the surge of players from Florida trying to cut through mid-map, and a couple are getting by, but now you got Slasher just going to come up and shoot a couple up in the back. The damage done to help his teammates just a little bit. See if they can get the cleanup kills, and Quavo and TJ trying to be able to do just that. Holding on the hill, 10 seconds away, Ben, and they will shut this one down for one of the most dominant hardpoint performances we have seen this year.
Now, Florida do have the spawn, so they'll just delay what feels like the inevitable. Quavo's inside the hill. He was trying to get up close and personal with the knife. Slasher, is he going to try and push? I mean, with just 6 seconds as your win condition, you may as well fly forward at least a couple more times. Obviously, dependent on where you're spawning. When you have that cushion, you can push that scrap time, try and close out the game. It's Quavo who's closest. Now we'll fall to TJ. Can he find the kill? No, he can't. Team kills galore from OpTic Gaming. This game was something we haven't had time to really mention. There's been about 5 or 6 as JCap with the hip fire. There's the triple. Can he find number 4? Doesn't even have time. Where is Rich Campbell? Because you should be embarrassed right now.
28 and 14, Ben. With a bunch of hill time to boot. TJ sat about in the hill for 2 minutes as well. Just a fantastic game all the way around. We've yet to see a single 100-point club in this game this year. If I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that.
Yep.
I think we have to have a new 100-point club. If you win by more than 100 points in this year, that's that same level. That's that same level of dominance from year to year.
It is strange that we haven't seen one, but I'm not sure whether that's just maybe the competition overall has just kind of leveled out. I mean, here's a look at our stats from this game. At the top, of course, is the Florida Mutineers. It was not pretty by any means for them. Pristini, 12 and 29. Mox picked up the pace a little bit, but it was just too late. 10 and 17 for him. On the other side, as you mentioned, Chance, JCap, 28 and 14, a minute 40 hill time, a minute 45 there for TJ, who goes 19 and 15. The other big slayer, as you would expect on this team, is Slasher at 26 and 19. Overall, just a much better showing from OpTic Gaming. I think you get your answers there.
It was clean. It was clean from both teams, or really just from one team, obviously. It's the first time they played Ramaz, or at least that we've seen them this year on LAN. Obviously, they look fantastic at it right there, and now the dust is starting to settle just a little bit more.
Let's take a look at our Scuff Gaming play of the game. JCap, I mean, he's just a slaying machine apparently on this map.
Yeah, pick your play as well with him. Like, he was a highlight reel, genuine towards the end. Like, this is the moment where, like, Slasher actually caught up into him and kills. He just goes in and pops a 4-piece immediately. Clean shots to boot, gets the triple feed, and I was like, oh, Slasher got there just for a moment.
Right.
JCap takes it right back.
Well, let's take a look at our U.S. Air Force Quickscope for this series, the final series of the night. Coming in terms of points in the standings, it's OpTic Gaming on the donut, 0 for them. Florida Mutineers 1 and 2, that gives them 10 CDL points. The game record, though, that really very, very close. 6-9, 3-9. Couldn't be any closer. And of course, if you are just tuning in, map number 1 over. We'll take a look at our US Air Force maps and modes to see where we'll go elsewhere in this series. And Chance, I guess the big question is, do you foresee this going further than 3?
I think it very well might. Okay, so let's take it map by map. When I think of a map like Arklov, we watched OpTic Gaming play against FaZe earlier. Yes, they lost 6-3, but like they look kind of good while doing it.
And it's FaZe.
Obviously not as good as FaZe, but like a 6-3 loss to FaZe in Search, like that ain't that bad. So I have a little bit of faith in OpTic to put stuff together on Arklov, take the experience they make, and I think they have a good chance of going up 2-0. And I don't know. I don't know if Florida has the bounce back potential necessarily, so I'm not saying it'll be a quick series, but I think it's a very tough battle for Florida to get back in it.
I'm sure many people's dream final of the FaZe versus Huntsmen is still on the cards. Both of those two teams have progressed through to the semifinals. The bottom side losers game you'll see to start tomorrow is going to be Røkkr versus Legion. Royal Ravens with their last victory, or last defeat, and they find themselves in a losers game as well. And they will play the winner, of course, of this.
I wonder if it'll be a great series at that, but I think the CDL points is kind of a more overarching story right now for me. Just when you're looking big picture, like obviously for this series, you lose, you go home, but if you go home with a 0 points or a 10 points, that is going to be brutal, because then you're looking at the scoreboard after this. I mean, Chicago might have, what, 120 points, and you're looking from the bottom up to the top. That is 12 series wins you're going to have to get if you're not the team that's winning tournaments, which neither one of these teams is in that conversation just yet. It will be a massive uphill climb. You do not want to fall short, so this is an incredibly important match for both of these teams.
And again, to touch on that point, we don't know when in the year we're going to reach that point.
It's going to come soon. It's going to come in the next like 3 tournaments.
Which is, yeah, I mean, time is flying, that's for sure. We're ready. 3rd event of the year as we now head over to Arklov Peak. Again, we saw OpTic Gaming on this exact map earlier. Ron, Dashy with the snipe. Of course, he had to go up against Simp. Still looked good in their own right. Yes, they lost 6-3. But for me, I expect OpTic Gaming LA to come out here and close out game 2 as well.
Well, we'll see if they can get it done. They're going to be kicked off on offense first, and actually they're going to be sending quite a few people to A. And look at that defensive setup from Florida. They are making the read. They got players up in the top house, and you got Havoc, I think, just pushing straight through the smoke. He's just going for it. He's going to cause chaos.
Wait.
Behind enemy lines already.
How did he not hear him? I don't know, but he finds a free kill on JCap. Dashy's not going to expect this at all. And that is a very bold and brave round number 1 from the Florida Mutineers. The strat, throw your smokes and fly.
Okay, that's the most crackhead thing I've seen so far in this game this year. That's absurd, and what a smart strat coming in from Havoc. You wonder why they can't hear him. It's because he's standing in between 4 of them. They all think he's like they're hearing each other. Who's going to expect that? Now, next round, you better believe they're going to be prepared for it. But at the same time, this is not the easiest map in the world to flank on. When you flank, you have to check 18 different corners before you get there. The best way to flank, apparently Havoc figured it out, just go straight through.
It's worth mentioning that's more of a cheese strat, if you will.
I don't
You're
think
not going to see that every single round. It's just a, hey, by the way, guys, we've prepped something a little interesting for you, and it works out fantastically for Florida Mutineers, now with the lead. 1-0. Havoc found 2, as did Frosty, but there's the nades defensively that come through. Prestini and Havoc both fall. It's OpTic Gaming with the advantage.
Hey, Ben, you know how to stop the aggression? Throw some stuns, throw some nades. It'll stop them right in their tracks. So maybe a good idea for the next round for OpTic Gaming. Obviously, this one, utility paying dividends. You get the free first blood. You follow it up immediately. You're in a 3v5 on offense. You're getting flanked. Everything's happening. Expect this round to end in the next 15 seconds, unless guys goes crazy.
Well, TJ knows now as Slasher falls, he has to maybe pick up the pace just a little bit. Collapse in, try and pinch. And Sky's maybe the first to fall. Yep, there's TJ. That was a relatively obvious play. Oh, POV, looking at that minimap. Frosty, though, can he trade it? Well, TJ scrambles away, and the longer he just stays alive is the important thing here. He doesn't necessarily even have to find a kill. There's Frosty left by himself as Mox falls. This for the 1v4, round over. OpTic Gaming tie things up.
And this is something that OpTic Gaming against FaZe actually did very well. It was their utility that won them quite a few rounds. It was the smoke pushes.
So many first bloods with nades.
It was all the nades that are forcing players, if not killing them out of windows. So it really does seem like OpTic Gaming has taken quite a bit of time to try to figure out some of these search and destroy strats. They've had a month or whatever it's been since Minnesota to figure these sorts of things out, and they look pretty well prepared so far.
And that was the rumor, right? Coming into this weekend, it was, well, OpTic Gaming looked better in their online scrims. And all the practice, things seem to be improving, and I guess we are theoretically seeing that here. The preparation in search and destroy, definitely something of note. I'm curious to see what we get from Florida Mutineers after that first round. Again, a pretty heavy stack over towards A. Of course, no fast rush, so far. Instead, OpTic Gaming on the attacker looking for Dashy to find the pick. Havoc will be traded out, but the man advantage still falls for Florida.
Good trades the whole way around. That puts more pressure on Dashy to find a pick, but nothing on that hill for the moment. Mock's the potential first victim of the sniper, but you can see he is barely peeking on any of these head glitches. And of course, he's got Frosty watching over as well. You see the glint of the sniper. It only stays there for a moment. Frosty could have an easy kill in front of him.
Got to be patient. 40 seconds still in this round. JCap trying to find an opening for OpTic Gaming, and there it is. The pick onto Mox. That now levels the playing field. 3 versus 3. Frosty's Dead Sounds just became available as Dashy actually finds the snipe, so never mind. Frosty falls. OpTic Gaming with the man advantage.
Bomb going down. Well, Dashy's going to have to back away. Pristini's the man that has to make a play. He does. He gets the bomb planter to at least force to come up, and JCap turns around at the worst time, drops the bomb in the open. Dashy has 10 seconds. He's got to find the kill.
Time ticking. He's got to be quick. Dashy challenging. Will he find the kill? He will! And OpTic Gaming win the round with just a few seconds left. 2-1, the advantage now.
JCap had me nervous. That situation is very much, you either go for the kill since you know exactly where he is, or you go for the plant. I don't know if in comms players were telling him different things, but the worst thing you can do in that situation is drop the bomb in front of the other player. Luckily for him, though, Dashy does clutch up. OpTic Gaming bump up the lead, only by a round, 2-1.
Of course, for OpTic LA, they go back on the defensive side. Florida Mutineers, will it be another A push? Can be potentially see B. I feel like earlier on in the OpTic versus FaZe game, there was a lot of B pushes on this map specifically, and well, mid-map is being hit. Well, we're probably going to see B this round as well.
Asking you shall receive. There's a player from Florida that tried to get through very quickly. I'm assuming it was Havoc based on the pass, and he gets chopped down. So nice little man advantage for the Florida Mutineers, but it hasn't lasted in the past. Last round, OpTic did clutch up. They're going to have to do so once again, 2v3.
It's Dashy with the sniper. He's not going to see anything just yet.
3v3. Sorry.
Pristini, he will fall. It's TJ Outskirts that finds him. Dashy gets the second. So you blink, and Skies is now in a 1 versus 3. All the work in the world to do. 37 seconds on the clock. So time will start ticking. He's going to have to start making moves. I think he knows exactly where Slasher is. Well, Dashy's going to call him out. And it should now just be a few moments before he falls.
Nice grenade. Nice little grenade coming in. We talked about the utility from OpTic Gaming looking pretty good. That one's more of a stamp on the round, but not only is it being in a 1v3 that's pretty difficult already, as soon as Slasher gets the information, spots him out mid-map, it becomes just hopeless. You just throw shoulders as many times as you possibly can and just waste time off the clock. Another solid round. The only one Florida's gotten was having... You call it cheese, I call it genius. But either way, something that will not be replicated for quite some time.
There's a quick glance at your stats as well. Quavo leads the way for OpTic Gaming. 5-3. TJ is 4-2. Dashy 3-1 as well. JCap, who had a fantastic game 1, he finds himself 3-3. Smokes, stuns, and nades all thrown out. Over towards the A site, and it's all a very elaborate bluff. It goes OpTic Gaming.
Quavo already in a fantastic spot. You hear the doors getting opened up underneath him. The bomb might be able to get planted pretty shortly, and Skies starting the wrap back. Quavo go up top. Skies has got to go hunting. I don't know how loud he's going to be, but it looks like Quavo heard him, turns on him, and gets the kill. First blood for OpTic.
Bomb also is being planted. And this is going to be a very hard retake now. 4 versus 5. As Pristini looks through the window, recognizing not really much he can do. Dashy gets himself in a sneaky little spot bottom middle, but Mark springs into life. He does level it, 4 versus 4, but with 30 seconds, time is of the essence. You've got to go quickly. JCap's covering the window. The trade does come through, though. There's still 2 players for Florida Mutineers that could try and make this happen. Havoc and Pristini, but TJ shuts down Pristini. Now it's all down to Havoc. He makes it maybe interesting in a 1 versus 2. But with no other play available, he tries to hop the bomb up to check it. 4-1 OpTic Gaming LA.
And an interesting setup as well from Florida. Obviously, the very first round when they forced that BA side, it paid dividends. But we watched OpTic Gaming today. They went to B quite a bit. As soon as those smokes come out mid-map, that's been the play every time. Quavo has gone through as fast as he could, and they weren't too quick on the retake. And by the time they have players back, you have 25, 30 seconds on the clock to flood into a bomb site where there's 8 corners you have to check at a time. It's just a very difficult retake on the bomb, but OpTic Gaming know that, and they'll take the round.
You almost feel like you have to react a little quicker in that sense. As you mentioned, you've seen OpTic Gaming play this map earlier on today, where they showed that B strat quite a couple of times, a fair amount of times at that. And again, as we mentioned earlier on, and as I'm sure so many of the other casts they have, with the time changing from 2-minute rounds to a minute 30, you just have to be that little bit quicker when it comes to search and destroy, specifically so on this map.
Smokes out on bomb, but Quavo a little bit past. He knows the bomb's clear, but he's able to find that first kill. Havoc behind at least one enemy's line. He's trying to be quiet for the kill. Slasher just makes the read, has it pre-aimed, and it's a free kill for him.
Man advantage. I'm pretty sure it was Dashy that actually gave that call out to Slasher, so he was ready for that fight to come through. But Slasher will fall, as will TJ. So just like that, when you think things are going well, it crumbles for OpTic Gaming. Everyone gets caught. Florida win their second round. OpTic still with the advantage in the series, though.
I think it was Frosty, but whoever it was that won the gunfight on the player just above that little half rock wall, I mean, that's the kind of gunfight that wins you the round. Like Quavo, after he gets that first blood, he's in a tough spot because he's effectively by himself well past the bomb, so eventually he gets dropped, but those are not easy gunfights to win on the player up on the wall. The difference maker, but now we got OpTic back on the attack. They've shown A few times, but even today, they've gone B the majority of their runs.
And again, as soon as you see that smoke, I feel like you have to just adjust quicker. This time, it looks as if they will. Florida, as opposed to sending 4 people to A, instead say 3-1-1 will be the setup on the map. Dashi shows over towards the A side, but you can see the presence from OpTic Gaming. They've spread the map, looking for maybe a pick, which could give them license to push.
I would imagine somewhere in their comms they were saying Havoc's going to overextend himself eventually. Let's see if we can wait for the kill. This time, though, Havoc much more patient. So OpTic Gaming, 30 seconds have gone by. Now they have to start making their moves. Not a lot of time on the clock for them to make something happen.
Still a little bit of utility left, but it's going to be TJ surely that will have the gunfight for first blood. Skies just backs away. TJ's at least got a little bit of sight control, but the first blood does come through from Mox. It's JCap that falls. Now can Dashi put himself into a position to find that first blood? While Skies defensively is trying to find something. There's 2 players outskirts. There's the first. Quavo shredded. And whilst all this fight is going on, Chance, 25 seconds left in the round. Time has been burned.
TJ has bombed out. It looks like they're thinking about the wrap. TJ's cut through mid-map, that's because Slasher's actually behind him. He got to the house, he's able to find one, but now you should have good information. But Florida is wrapping back pretty quickly. 10 seconds on the clock, you got to kill the man off bomb.
They know. All you have to do is try and check as quickly as possible. Dashi and TJ. Spots one, that's the kill, very well played. Frosty, of course, is in support, but look at the play Dashi's made. He should maybe find the first, not gonna happen. Frosty clutches up. Florida get their 3rd round.
Havoc is greasy, man. He's feeling himself as well. That round, I mean, he gets hurt the entire way when he's flanking around back. He is very loud without that dead silence. So the man that was in the corner knew exactly what gunfight he needed to take. But Havoc just shreds him.
Worth mentioning, Havoc, of course, will wait to defuse the bomb, try and build that dead silence. You can see that in the top of your screens there. He's currently at 78%. We would love to start the next round with dead silence available to try and make another sneaky play. He's a sneaky one.
So it looks like at least off the rip, Florida have 2 players with dead silence to kick off the round. I think OpTic Gaming, though, had 3. So you think some pressure's coming on, you can pop dead silence yourself. Quite a few of them are going to be on board. Obviously, if you're looking for a playmaker, Havoc, he's been that guy for Florida so far.
Honestly, I'm looking at Prestini. Not necessarily to be the opening playmaker, but a poor hardpoint, and so far, a poor search and destroy as well. 3 and 6 he sits at, but you're absolutely right. It has been Havoc that's been making the opening plays. It was a very sneaky, well-thought-through first round. And here's a look at Prestini. He will be bomb carrier as well, which may explain why he's had a little bit of unsuccessful moments, but that's a very unsuccessful moment. TJ finds 2. Mox is there to finally trade, but already, with a minute left, Florida a man down.
Really seemed like right there, they were just hoping someone wasn't going to be in that window.
Yeah, they didn't even check it.
And they guessed wrong. TJ was free 2 kills. Nice little advantage for OpTic Gaming. Some more dead silences coming on board. And on Arklov, it's not easy to wrap this bomb out. And if they do, I mean, it's Slasher. Slasher's behind enemy lines.
How quickly is he going to realize that the last few Florida players have already managed to get site control? So essentially, the flank may be flanked again. And that's what Frosty's looking for. But Slasher is out of there.
And it's just all this wasted time. Like, even if OpTic Gaming,
you had to plant.
it doesn't matter, because now you're going to have to plant in a bad situation. They just let Slasher through, try to re-wrap back, and it's just a bad situation that all spiraled off the first 2 kills.
Frosty will find 1. Makes it a 2v3, but now your hand has been shown. JCap will find Mox. And JCap will find the last player as well. OpTic Gaming within touching distance now of closing out game 2.
And there's just no reason for it to happen. It's just not clean search and destroy. Like, whoever that was the second gunfight in, I think it was Mox, like, if the window's going to be open, just wait an extra second before you try to plant. Just watch the window until Mox gets there to get your cover. Like, I don't know if it's a communication thing, if they're just going off the game plan, hoping someone's not going to be in the window, but either way, you feed TJ effectively. Well, 1 free kill, then just has to win 1 gunfight. And in my mind, that almost just, it wins you the round for OpTic.
Bear in mind, heading into that round, it was 4 first bloods for Florida Mutineers, 3 to OpTic Gaming. So in terms of first bloods, Florida's getting them. They're just not converting that first blood into round wins as well.
OpTic Gaming, once again, this mid-map push. I think you heard a couple smokes, or at least hit trophies. And, well, Persini, he's going to have a nice little first kill on Quavo. He's able to stay alive for the moment. Does get traded out, though, but he has to slow down the push.
Frosty gets himself 2. Dashy looks to try and trade. Luckily for him, JCap is there, but JCap will fall. Dashy now for the improbable 1 versus 3. He's been spotted, he's been hunted down, and Florida down but not out, staying alive here in game 2.
And Frosty is gunning people at this point. We like flipped to him just like a split second too late, but he probably had 1 easy kill. I think it was on Persini, and then Slasher just didn't win the gunfight, man. Didn't win the gunfight in Florida. Lived to see another round. They're going to need 2 more in a row. They've had problems getting stuff going together on offense, but, like, frankly, even last round. Like, they were able to get clearance over towards the site. It's just the little small things they're screwing up on right now.
I mean, you talk about Frosty, 9-5 as it stands.
Heated up. He was on a 5 spree the round before.
So playing very, very well, but is it enough to potentially see a round 11 here in game 2? Frosty with the snipe out. May find the first pick. OpTic gonna show though. Prestini finds first blood. That's 2 rounds in a row for him. Skies follows it up as well. Florida, they're now in the driving seat to close this one out and force a round 11 unless JCap has something to say about it. There's one, almost found the second. Havoc saves the day in that gunfight. And still, the advantage for Florida Mutineers in this round.
Oh, they know exactly where he is now. As soon as you drop from that high up, you get heard from players on different
like an elephant running
there were
around.
Players in the pro lounge right now that are screaming on a different map that just heard Quavo land from there. But either way, nice clean round. I mean, you get the first blood, you get the second blood, you get all the kills.
Helps,
Makes
right?
it easy. Some rounds you need good strats. Some rounds you just need to gun the opposition. And of course, JCap, there was an opening. Maybe if he finds the 2-piece, but just a bullet off, getting that next kill. And it all comes down to this, man, the round 11.
Let's have a good round 11. Can Florida stay true? They have the defensive side. For OpTic Gaming LA, it's attacking. Well, looks like it's going to be one of those quicker rounds potentially, as 4 players from Florida started running towards A. 1 will peel away. So again, a 3-1-1 split for Florida. Defensively, for OpTic Gaming LA, it is clear as day. It's going to be an A push.
Trophy's saving lives. Kenny has gotten past the mid-mark point. He can get to the rock to shoot the player off bomb, and just like that, first blood is in.
It's too easy. It's way too easy. No one checking. And Quavo says, thank you very much. I'll claim a man advantage. And Skies needs to be careful. Havoc actually finds himself a double. All of a sudden, the round looks very, very different as Frosty finds one as well. Havoc wants to just try and push straight through the smoke. That's 3 for him in the round. And just like that, Dashi left to perform heroics. A 1 versus 4. I think did he spot Skies?
Absolutely.
He could maybe make this interesting. If he can turn this into a 1 versus 2, his teammates will without a doubt call that out. There's Skies, but Skies wins the gunfight anyway. And Florida Mutineers, who were so heavily down, win the round 11 and tie up the series 1-1.
Greasy Gang is here. Havoc and just running through smokes. Name a better duo that map. It was the first round, then in the last round. Just finds his way through smokes. You don't expect him to be there. Finds a couple big kills, and of course, well, Frosty had a fantastic game himself as well.
Honestly, some may call it reckless, some may just call it confident. Doesn't matter, because Florida win map number 2. Havoc, the playmaker. When Florida Mutineers needed him to step up in that round 11, he did just that. A great performance from them. And in terms of the stats as well, I believe he played unbelievably well.
2 double-digit games. I mean, again, we saw Frosty that was going on the tear earlier, and then that last round, Havoc just bumps himself up to catch up. They each got 11 kills, doing a very solid game, but respectable from both sides, I think. It was just Florida that had the ice in their veins.
And a big turnaround as well from Prestini, from finishes 6 and 8, but it was a slow start. Pulled him out early, and he turned things around. And this series just got interesting, Chance. For a moment there, I was thinking, oh, this might be just a simple 3-0. That's not going to be the case. Florida show some life with a round 11 win in the Game 2 Search and Destroy series, tied 1-1. We'll be right back after this.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Rule your day with the #1 brand in prepaid.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Final game of the night. Of course, we're live from Atlanta, and it's Atlanta FaZe who have dominated not only their 4 games they've played so far, but all day today. They have looked absolutely fantastic. I want to take a look at our social soundboard presented by Astro Gaming. And it's not just us which have an appreciation. It's Royal Ravens as well, the official Royal Ravens account. They're the best team in the game for a reason. GG's Atlanta FaZe. We lost 1-3, but our tournament isn't over yet. Hashtag 6th Raven. Just everyone appreciates how good the FaZe boys are.
I mean, that's not even the best tweet they had. I think Patter also tweeted out, he was like, hey, we got a round against FaZe in Search and Destroy. Like, we're killing the game right now, but it's a tough team. Everybody knows it right now. FaZe, they're the team to beat.
I want to take a look at our tactical play presented by the U.S. Army coming in from that game, number 2. And there's only one play I think really deserves it, and it's one of the best plays I think we've seen so far. pretty much the entire round number 1 was crazy, Chance. It was nuts.
I mean, it's just, it's one of the most absurd plays we've seen this year. It's just, there's no reason to do it. It's, there was 2 parts of this play. It's genius, and it's also so stupid, and I can't believe it worked. Just sneaks behind. Like, the stuns are late, and it's just...
He actually slides into J-Cap there as well, but he finds the first blood. Dashy's like, excuse me, where did you just die from? Dashy falls, Frosty gets the nade, he also gets a second, and just like that, the round's over.
Like, I want nothing more than to hear OpTic Gaming's comms in that moment. Just to hear what they said. I'm like, what the? I'm like, what? How is he there? But again, it is both genius because it worked and also so unbelievably stupid. It's like, if he does it to you, you absolutely hate him for it. If like you're his teammate and that fails, you're talking smack to having the entire time, but because it worked, it's just smart.
It's one of those where if the smoke clears and Dashy's aiming roughly near his teammate, he goes, what the hell is he doing there? Could potentially have been pretty poor, but overall, a fantastic round number 1 from Florida. And of course, they take game 2, so we're tied at 1-1 going into a St. Petro dome.
I'm going to backtrack further, just to let it ride. It was poetic as well, just because the finish.
Oh, yeah.
It's like OpTic Gaming does a great job, get the first blood. There's all of a sudden a smoke on the map. You look at the kill feed, Havoc has a bunch of kills. So the same thing. You start in the smoke, and you're just feasting. You end in the smoke. So now, if I'm playing on Dom, throw smokes everywhere. Let Havoc run through.
The one thing I will say going into this game is Florida Mutineers, for me, absolutely need to win this map because their hardpoint KD on the day collectively as a team in hardpoint alone is 0.7. We mentioned pacing issues, we mentioned being outslayed. Hardpoint has not been good for Florida. So for me, they need to lead this series 2-1 to have any chance of seeing it through to a game 5 where maybe they win.
And just to give context on what a 0.7 actually means, it's atrocious. Like if one player drops a 0.7, maybe 20% of the time it's fine. The other 80, it's a really bad stat line. If your team is doing that, that's atrocious. That's as bad as it gets. But either way, you know, they'll bounce back then, I'm sure.
Bit of a yikes, I think it's fair to say. And, well, early on in this one, it's Florida Mutineers with a 2-1 hill advantage against OpTic Gaming. But OpTic spawning on the favorable C side of the map. I want to send it over to an OpTic Gaming listener presented by Astro Gaming.
Gate to C.
I spawn back here, guys.
Front yellow me.
Yeah. We can't see.
Havoc is C. Havoc is C. One more ambi. One ambi box.
Havoc
is C. Like 2 by C, I think.
Yo, one stop down here. You jumped out blue court.
Blue court. I get it. Blue court. I get it. Blue court. I spawn back pool.
Try to cut off first. One's their side first. Backing up. Weak. Yellow.
Hit me, Mox. Mox is street.
Another one C.
Go, Mox is street.
Got him.
I'm gate.
Mox is far as street.
I'll see one shot.
Trying to cut off first.
I'm on C. I'm happy. I'm on C.
I can get it.
Then I'll see him, man.
Another one first on me.
He naded me. Oh, I got naded. I got the juke.
Another first, he got back.
One guy spawned on C. We can play B here. We can play B here. Mid, weak. Gate that.
One shot mid, guys. He's mid on me.
I have bro, right?
Frosty's mid.
I don't see anything right.
Flash me mid.
I'm top diner, bro.
Be down.
Top yellow havoc.
Frosty be down. Onto you.
Alright, I'm top diner. I'll be. You got off for now. I'm B again. I'm B dead.
Ambi weak. Might be pots on this.
More yellow roof.
He jumped out, right? I'm on
One's still right.
I need top yellow.
3 minutes remain in the first side here of domination. It's OpTic Gaming trailing by 6, but they do have a 2-1 hill advantage, so that lead chance will diminish relatively quickly.
The way this map is really developed, it's obviously the team that caps B first is just going to have the advantage because it's so difficult to get. You hear a lot of the call-outs even from Gavo, just like, hey, now he's on B. Everyone storms and finds the kills, but even more than that, you do kind of want C to be your home flag. A is almost ignored a lot of the time, so OpTic Gaming, if they get an opening, they're going to try to push through, but for now, it's just keep Florida at bay.
I think that's the thing that kind of makes him second-guess himself is just, well, they're winning the fights. There's no need right now to try and push through, but you're absolutely right. As soon as you get the opening, you spring into life, and that's what TJ's done. He puts himself on the C flag. Will he neutral and run, or will he stay for the cap? Well, Quabo's watching P1, knowing that that's where Florida are going to spawn, so he has a teammate watching that cut, and it's going to be a trip cap for now. How long can they hold it? As things stand, Florida not earning any points. OpTic Gaming earning a little bit of a lead. It's at 10 points now, but again, it's going to keep on growing. Florida forced to cap A.
And this is exactly what OpTic Gaming wants. You're happy to get the triple cap even for 2 ticks. It's going to bump up your lead quite a bit. You make sure you get the C flag. You're going to leave a body back there pretty much the entire time. And the job for everyone else is to be annoying and slay. And J-Cap trying to do exactly that. He's able to find 2. He's just being the distraction, keeping these players over at A. He's got a little bit of help in Dashy. And now if he gets the neutral again, this is where the leads can start to get out of control.
Obviously, he doesn't even need to try and stay for the cap, but wanted to do it. Dashy looking for that pick. Florida, of course, won't want the A hill. but they will want at least some points. And OpTic Gaming have had 2 spells now in this first half of domination where they've just completely forced Florida to not earn any points whatsoever. It's now resulted in quite a sizable lead with just 60 seconds remaining in this first side. A almost cleared for OpTic Gaming. B has been capped by OpTic, and C is currently held by Florida Mutineers. And I think they should be able to just diminish OpTic Gaming's work over towards A. So 2-1 flag advantage for Florida.
Well, Florida's going to be happy with it a little bit, but still, if you're able to hold B, that really is the key to it. So someone from Florida is actually on point. Mox, though, is going to fall with the action over on B. That's just going to be a neutralization there, but Florida doing a little bit of damage mitigation.
This is huge. You just want to try and stop OpTic Gaming earning any points for as long as you possibly can. Reduce the lead OpTic has been able to earn themselves. So far, so good. And I love Prestini's play here. Just trying to be sneaky. He's going to find one, may even find second. Tags up Dashi. OpTic should be able to claim the C flag. But again, that work there from Florida Mutineers was massive. The lead was almost around about over 20 points. And now, I mean, look at the damage Florida's been able to do. It's such a close game when we head into the second half.
In the smoke, though, this is normally where it's havoc going off. This time it's just trades back and forth. OpTic Gaming do secure B at the final end, but really, you called it correctly. It's the 2 big plays from either team. It's OpTic Gaming. They get the triple cap just for some brief moments. They open up the lead a little bit. Well, Florida, they bounce back and do it a different way. More of like a being annoying, neutralize the B flag, try to chip away from a different direction, but able to cut the lead effectively in half.
Good first side of domination. Again, I have to reiterate, for me, Florida need to win this game 3 to have any chance of taking the series. You do not think they're capable of beating OpTic Gaming in a hard point. Right now, anyone in a hard point at that.
I mean, at the same time, though, keep in mind, it was Ramaza map 1. Neither of these teams have played it, and if we go to Hackney for map 4, when we go to Hackney for map 4, neither team's played it, not on land. I'm sure they scrimmed against each other, but maybe to be a much more comfortable pick, I would assume, for Florida than Ramaza was.
All eyes on Quavo in the second half from OpTic Gaming, 16-9. He sits a fantastic first half. On the flip side, Prestini, who was 6-13 going into this half, he found himself 1. But again, another slow start from Prestini. I feel like that's been the story at the start of so many years of competitive Call of Duty, where you talk about Prestini sometimes being slow. By the end of the season, tends to be extremely consistent. But he has to find a groove. He has to find that rhythm early on here. Otherwise, Florida overall, when you talk CDL standings, is going to be in trouble.
Could be in trouble, and again, that just ties into the point of, like, you can't afford to have a slow start. This is the one year where it's going to be more important than any other because of the CDL points coming into effect. So both of these teams are going to need this win. Both obviously want to win this domination. And, well, for the moment, it was a neutralization on C, and while OpTic Gaming is putting pressure on there, you got 2 bodies on B for Florida.
And this is interesting because now you have Florida in the exact same setup OpTic Gaming had to start off the first side. A and B locked in, OpTic spawning at C. How long can Florida hold on to this? And when, if the right time, will they push forward towards C and try and neutral, maybe even go for a trip cap, because they are slowly but surely chipping away at OpTic's lead. It's now down to just 5 points with over 3.5 minutes to go. TJ springs into life over towards B. Quavo's there as well, so the neutral's going to be very, very quick, but do they stay to cap? Well, teammates are picking up kills, so honestly, you have license to do that now. Florida instantly lose control of B.
Skies, though, able to get the kill in the final moment, and of course, Mox is actually overextended himself. He's behind enemy lines. Yeah, he's able to find the cleanup kill. This is going to spawn OpTic Gaming out at A, but now Mox is going to need help. That means his teammates need to hold B and get the pressure over towards C, and so far, so good. They're doing exactly that.
This has worked out perfectly. B back under Florida control. C now locked in for Florida as well. And it comes down to winning the next flurry of gunfights, which Florida have been able to do. So Florida, more than likely, will take the lead relatively soon here, Chance.
And again, the B flag is the key to it all. Obviously, you want C as your neutral or your home flag at the very least, but any team that has that middle one is going to have the advantage, not the gaming. They have 3 bodies that have the flag surrounded. Havoc with the cutoff, though. He's going to get dropped. OpTic Gaming, though, need a few more kills before they get clearance.
2 minutes 45 to go. OpTic make their way towards B. The neutral is coming through, and they may just try and stick the cap. They'll do just that. So the lead will go back in favor of OpTic Gaming. And Skies will find 1. He knows JCap should be crossing. Teammate called that out. Instantly snapped over towards that side. Now the assault back over towards B for Florida Mutineers. It's a back and forth game right now, Chance.
And of course, Florida, they're sending a couple players on the flank as well. You got Mox dealing with one end, you got Prestini on flanks on the other.
Well, it's number 9 on the minimap. That's TJ who makes the play. He just splits open the Florida Mutineers defense, finds his way over towards C, forces players to turn around. It was Frosty that gets a double, but it just relieves a bit of pressure over towards B. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the map, Florida push forward, neutralize A. However, OpTic still should be able to reclaim control of that. Just a 4-point lead with 2 minutes to go.
I think there might have been a moment there where you almost had, well, 2 neutral flags, nearly a third as well. But again, Florida doing their best job of just kind of damage mitigation. Now you got Frosty being annoying by A, and he gets the kill as well. Might be able to get the neutral, and now he's got to stay alive.
Well, he knows OpTic Gaming is still going to spawn over towards A, so this is massive. OpTic not getting any points whatsoever. They'll have to cap A with no map control either. Florida need to set up as quickly as they can to defend B, which unfortunately, Jets, I don't think they've really been able to get that setup locked in.
Anybody's game, 3-point difference, and now make it 4 between these two teams. OpTic trying to flood in to get the B flag. Havoc through the smoke is able to find one, does get dropped for the second, and Quavo on the flag. It looks like they have the clearance. They're going to take B right back.
Havoc and Smoke's name a better duo this game, but a big win on the bottom side of the map. That's Prestini. He shuts down Dashi on the other side, so A will be neutraled once again with just over 60 seconds to go. A 3-point lead.
Boy, he actually got naded off the flag, so the nade's coming big for OpTic Gaming, who is still able to hold on to the B flag. Frosty doing everything he can. It's going to be Florida they're going to need to start getting a couple kills on Slang. They got a 1-point lead, and Skies doesn't quite get the neutral, so OpTic Gaming should take it.
And Slasher is huge because he's actually on Florida's side of the B hill, and no one's been able to find him. That's 2 massive kills Slasher was able to get, which deflects pressure off the B hill. OpTic Gaming back with the lead, but it's such a small one. Chance still plenty of time for Florida to turn this around, but they have to go relatively quickly over towards B. Maybe at this point, you even consider overextending to A.
I don't know if you have time. You're going to have to flood. Actually, they have one man that's overextending. It's going to be Frosty trying to make the play just for his neutral, but his teammates have to go big as well. But on B, I think they might have done the neutral over there. Frosty might be able to get this on A. This might be the moment.
Do you stick it? Do you stay? Well, the nade comes through again. 2 nades. It's Dashi this time that shuts him down. OpTic know they have to cap the home hill with 15 seconds left. 142 to 140. How many ticks will we see? Could it potentially tick over for Florida? All they have to do now is defend B with their lives. 143, 142. It will tick the tie. 144, 144. OpTic Gaming. They assault B, but there's no time, or is there? Florida steal. They steal, but no. Draw.
Welcome to the new game, the new year, Ben. This is what happens.
Wait.
And I don't know what the decision needs to be. We've seen it online where you get the 1-point tick, but the game just doesn't count it. And this is a problem I have not seen addressed, so I don't know what the decision is, Ben.
You called it.
I told you this was going to happen.
You said you are a prophet. You are a prophet, Chance. Before this event, you said exactly this would happen. I said, well, it'd be funny if it was us with how close some of our series go. But, I mean, the scoreboard said the actual score, which
and
had
it also
Florida
says
winning.
Draw.
And it also
This is the dilemma. This is the dilemma that, again, it's just...
I mean,
it's
so here's the thing. If you're up the game, yes, you can
Good luck.
dispute because you can say the game says draw, but I mean, you have to take the score into consideration there, surely.
I mean, the score is pretty important.
The players haven't reacted to that, and Florida, of course, celebrate. They get that final tick over, and potentially, we'll find out our official ruling here shortly, steal game 3.
And maybe this is something the players have a better idea of than we do, since obviously they've sent this down the pipeline in the past. Like, we've seen these scoreboards pop up, and it's just, it's something to do with that final tick of just the timing of it and the way the game handles it. But again, we'll get an answer to you as soon as you can, but I guess the one thing we can say is, hell of a close game, Ben. Hell of a close game.
We wait for our official rule. Again, I want to stress the importance on that game for Florida Mutineers. Their overall team KD in hardpoint so far here in Atlanta, a 0.7. It is abysmal. It is not a game mode you expect to see them win. So for me, they have to win that domination, and potentially a 1-point steal is incredible.
And now I'm just trying to think of like what the play of the game would be, because you have so many little moments, moments in the past 2 minutes of like a player for Florida overextending, trying to neutralize the A flag, a clutch nade comes in from over top. That's going to buy OpTic Gaming an extra 2 ticks of not having a neutralized flag. It's just the clips at the end that are insane. And well, Ben, anytime there's an insane moment, you do seem to get a little bit energetic at times.
I've been known to get just a little excited when exciting things happen. That was no difference. I'm getting flashbacks, Chance. That looks very similar to a clip that we already have.
I'm waiting to see if I'm gonna. There's a moment where I realize what's gonna happen.
Wait, do you smile? If you smile, I swear to you do. Look at that smile. It's such a beautiful.
No, yeah,
smile.
this is me trying to be like, Ben, I told you it was gonna happen at some point.
I am confused.
Today is that day.
You're a genius, Chance. But either way, we love a good close game. Chance, you can wait for another tweet. I'll tweet it out.
I don't want this one.
Another million views. I'll tag you. It's okay.
Okay, this is not nearly as good. Gigante, if you're listening, just please, just don't. Not this time.
Gigante,
be kind.
He's always listening. He's always watching. But so far, we, again, still awaiting an official ruling exactly what the result will be. We're just tuning in, a crazy domination. I will say that's the best domination we've had all year, and nothing comes close.
I mean, yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, obviously,
nothing comes close.
I mean, what's the closest game we've had after that? Maybe, honestly, maybe like 10 points, something like that. Like, it's definitely not been one that's down to the wire. At least normally when there's 15 seconds left, we know who's going to win the game. This time, the game's been over 5 minutes, and we still don't know. It can't get closer than that, Ben. Literally.
It really cannot. As the series tied currently at 1-1 after that domination on St. Petro, we await the official ruling from the league as to whether it will be a full map replay or potentially, Florida Mutineers going up 2-1.
And I think no matter what happens, all 10 players on the battlefield have lost full.
Potentially.
I can just, this is another situation where, like, God, can we do like Astro Gaming listening in like these moments just to figure out like, oh, I want to hear the comms from the players, man. This is the time.
Well, whilst we get everything sorted out, we will be back after a quick commercial break as we wait for the official ruling for what occurred in that Game 3. As things stand, series tied 1-1. We'll be back after this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's the final game of the night here in day 1 in Atlanta, and what a series we have on our hands. OpTic Gaming LA versus Florida Mutineers. Here's the final 30 seconds of what was a ridiculous domination. Chance, I was losing my mind. What actually happened? I was too excited. I missed quite a lot.
I'm trying to do the math. I'm trying to do the math. Okay. I'm trying to figure out who the hell has a flag. Is it neutral? What's going on? And I think it was like at this moment, as soon as they tied for this tick, I knew that no matter what happens for the final tick, it's going to say like a tie game. It doesn't matter if they actually tie. It doesn't matter which team is getting the advantage. As soon as you get past that final 5 seconds, you know one more tick is going to come in. So it was after that. In that clip, whenever you see my face light up, that is when the 5-second mark passed. So I was like, today's the day. Today's the day, guys.
And I want to reiterate, when we were doing our prep work for this event, we were talking about domination. We were just kind of joking about, oh yeah, it'd be great if we had a close dom. We got our close dom, and the first thing you said is, well, there's a chance where, if a draw comes through, full replay, and we're like, oh, what are the odds of that? just happened.
Yeah,
that exact thing just happened. You're a guru.
It's one of the issues in the game that just like hasn't been addressed. So we're still trying to figure out exactly what's going to happen. Obviously, we'll get our answer in a few minutes. I mean, you got 3 options, I guess. Either they're going to call it a draw, we replay. They're going to say Team A or Team B won. Well, no, they can only. So 2 options.
There's only 2 options.
Yeah, okay.
It's either
2
Florida
options.
won or it's a draw and it's a full replay.
There you go. So we'll get our decision. Then I guess when this happens later in the year, we'll just continue to go with that method sort of thing. But either way, I mean, as you pointed out, fantastic game, crazy ending. You had players that are managing 18 different things at the map at every given time. I mean, some of the comms actually from OpTic Gaming were like pretty calm earlier, where they're just like, hey,
it was
guy
not
on
calm
B,
right there.
let's go to C. Oh, at the end, everyone is losing their minds.
I will say, the nade that was thrown several times from OpTic Gaming over towards the A side of the A hill was absolute perfection. It was so good to keep that hill as neutral as long as they did. Honestly, that game could have been pretty one-sided. We'll take a look at how our bracket stands here in the home series, presented and hosted by Atlanta FaZe. It's FaZe in the semis as we await for what could potentially be an epic grand final.
Yeah, and obviously that's the biggest storyline, the FaZe versus Huntsmen, but you have a couple interesting things. The Legion at the bottom, it was the last tournament at London, the exact same thing happened. It was round one, they do get beat, they lose 3-1, then they go into the loser's bracket, get the win, and they have the opportunity to get revenge on the team that knocked them down. At London, it was the subliners. This time, it's Minnesota. So you have Paris, potentially, that might find themselves later on, and they're on the Huntsman side of the bracket as well, aren't they? They might have a storybook kind of ending as well, where they have the perfect circumstances of replicating what they had, but fixing that Game 5.
I was going to say, that's the difference, right? When they played the Huntsmen the first time, it went Game 5, and Paris fell short. If they could get that rematch, oh boy, could that be a spicy one, and potentially an interesting one as well.
And I haven't paid as much attention to it for like seeing the mirror, but I think London has an opportunity as well of, hey, bounce back at London. You go up like 2-0 in the semifinals, you go over to like the grand finals. They are not quite to that point in the tournament yet, but potentially well on their way.
We shall see. Of course, this currently a game where you're fighting for your lives. OpTic Gaming versus Florida Mutineers. I'm very excited for the OpTic Gaming homestand, by the way. I joined LA Gorillas. I don't know, did you see the promotional video?
I was going to say, whose homestand is it then?
But both. It's both. It's, you know, LA.
But whose is it?
They share the
It's
city.
whoever wins that match.
Whoever goes further in the event. There you go. I think that's how we can dictate it. But very funny. So shout out to all the teams making fantastic content. That's one
Quite
thing
a few of the teams have been killing it.
Absolutely love to see the amazing content by some of the league teams. So shout out to all the producers out there. You guys are doing a fantastic job, that's for sure, as we still await our official ruling. If you are just tuning in, you just missed one of the best dominations. You're probably going to see all year, if I'm honest. You're just tuning in a little late, but again, an important game which could really decide the fate of this series. You think about when rulings have come in the past, the one that stands out to me the most is, of course, Minnesota versus Los Angeles Gorillas. You look at exactly what happened to LA, and then all of a sudden, well, they collapsed. And this is a couple of moments ago, one of the officials, I believe, came onto the stage.
I hope, he's explaining it to one of the teams, just talking it over, and I hope it's them talking to Pac-Man. Please be Pac-Man.
Well, there's the ref comes onto the stage, explains the official ruling, which has been made, and he's talking to Florida, which to me could be concerning.
So I'm a body language expert. He's saying, Havoc, dude, that round in Search and Destroy, what the hell were you doing run through the smoke? And I was like, what do you mean, bro? I got through, I got the kill. But I can't tell. I have no idea. They just look completely neutral about the entire thing.
I think the players may know the ruling. We're still waiting to find out. And as soon as we do, we'll get you that information. This is a situation that, as I mentioned before, we've seen where teams will have rulings go against them and completely collapse. LA Gorillas versus Minnesota Røkkr is a prime example of exactly that series. I think we all think a series that, honestly, LA should have probably won, but Minnesota get it.
And the thing that, in my mind, is actually pretty interesting about it as well is, like, we had the Luminosity versus, I believe it was FaZe at the time. I think it was at the London event, right? Yeah. Actually, 100% at the London event.
Is that the London event?
Shout out to Tommy, one of the best, like, cheering kind of guys we have in the league, and inspiration to us all. But it was a decision of, like, you just go with what the game says, but this time the game is effectively telling you two different things.
It says two different things.
It's just a tough call. Hopefully there will be a great rationalization for whatever the explanation is. I'm sure all 10 players will be happy and accepting. And there will be no memes about this on Twitter.
Right. Well, I don't know what world you're living in.
I wonder what the Gorillas are thinking right now.
I think somewhere Aches is sat with a big old smile on his face, especially as this is happening to, of course, their actual rivals here in OpTic Gaming LA. Again, if you are just tuning in and you missed it, I want to show it you once again. The final 30 seconds of that domination. It was absolute chaos 142, 137 the score, and all of a sudden, the neutrals come through, the caps come through, and Florida just make the plays.
And this is genuinely one of those moments towards the end where we need 3 different caster pairs, one for each flag to sort of like break down, because there was literally an overextension at A that drew like 3 players from OpTic Gaming towards there in the end. Obviously, you have just the hot mess of players over on B. I mean, just look at the skulls on the arrows. It's just 8 players on the map all taking gunfights at the exact same time. It's just, it's impossible to read. Those are the situations where it's almost impossible to play in. You're shooting at the enemy, hoping for the best.
And just thinking big picture now in terms of the series, the Search and Destroy was a great one, of course. We had a round 11 there, unbelievably close domination as we know. But in terms of hardpoint, 0.7 overall KD from Florida Mutineers in that game mode, it's tough for me to see if this ruling goes in favor of Florida. We don't have a Game 5 on our hands. I cannot see a world where we don't have that Game 5.
I mean, either direction. These are the types of things that are always incredibly difficult to bounce back from. Actually, I think we like vaguely kept track of this last year when Genji was playing and Mox had a controller issue and he had to play the entire map with a broken controller and they were all pissed off and there like wasn't a reset. And it has been every single moment like that. The team that goes on tilt is always the team that ends up collapsing. I think last year with Genji was the first time that the team that had a good reason to tilt actually clutched up and won the entire thing. So we've seen it like once.
Oh, apologies for the delay, but we're going to go to another quick commercial break, and hopefully when we come back, we'll have that official ruling. Apologies again. We'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Final game of the night. We're going to go very meta here. We're going to react to the reaction of the reaction here, Chance. It was
CDL Atlanta, directed by Chris Nolan.
it was absolutely insane. I mean, it's crazy. We've had reactions exactly like that. Shout out to Miles. I already saw the tweet he posted. I mean, it's almost an identical reaction to the one we had, that Seaside Hardpoint, OpTic versus the United.
I think the beard helps on my face, I'm going to be honest. It just makes me look a little bit less confused.
But this is the best part.
Dude, we got to line up the animations and see how close you're the exact same thing. It's literally like lean down, come up, confused look, panic in your face. Like.
But this is best because you literally, you pulled me back and you're like, bruh, it's a draw.
I just like, hey, by the way, well, I mean, is it? We still don't know.
We'll find out shortly. Hopefully, you've had fun, though, watching day one.
This is like an anime episode. This is like Dragon Ball Z, where it's like, we're waiting for one thing. It's going to take another 37 episodes, and we're going to keep saying, we'll be right back, like that type of thing. We're not doing it again yet, but maybe. We'll get there, probably.
Hopefully. This is an important decision, folks, okay? So we want to make sure we get this one right. But overall, as things currently stand, it's 1-1 in the final game of the night. Florida Mutineers versus Los Angeles OpTic Gaming. But there is a couple of games which we already know, and I want to take a look at Sunday's schedule presented by the U.S. Army. So many exciting games. Of course, we start off Minnesota versus Legion. That's a good one, right? We know that's a good one. The winner of this will play London Royal Ravens, and then, of course, the winner of those series will drop down against FaZe and Huntsmen. But the question that everyone wanted to know, who's better? Is it FaZe? Is it Huntsmen? Chance, is that going to be our final, you think, tomorrow?
Well, I mean, here's the interesting thing, right? Obviously, FaZe have definitely looked like the more dominant team today on Saturday. Huntsmen have almost faltered. Game 5, round 11. There was definitely more struggle moments, a couple slow hard points, what have you. But at the same time, not about how you perform on Saturday. It's all about that Sunday kind of game. And these are players all across the board on the Chicago roster. That's where they live for. They live for the Sundays. That's when they've been at their best.
And also, I think there's one interesting storyline we haven't really touched on. It's players when they come up in the professional community, when they come up and they have some of those breakout events. You look at a player like Simp, for example, right? Who straight off the bat, you could just tell he was going to be a superstar. Second his first event, then he wins playoffs, MVP, World Championship, MVP. Whereas other players, when they start, they don't necessarily have that success straight away. And interesting enough, I look at one of his teammates, which is Celium, who had, at the very beginning of last year at the qualifier, one of the most incredible search and destroy plays, clutches up big time. But then you didn't really see much else really from him as an individual. When it came to the big time games, specifically, you looked at, games against OpTic Gaming on the main stage, the crowd against him, kind of collapsed, I don't want to say collapsed, but had poorer performances than you're used to. But that's kind of the norm. That's kind of to be expected.
I was going to say, like, Simp is the exception to the rule. The rule is, like, once you get to the big stage, you're going to find out what the big stage is actually like, and it's a lot to learn from and kind of grow from. And Major Maniac is another one as well. Major Maniac is a guy who has a couple second place finishes towards the tail end of the year. Couldn't quite breach that margin and get that win, so a couple of these players just on the hunt to get that win.
Well, we just got the official ruling, folks. Florida wins game 3.
Obviously, Ben, 146, 145.
That's what we've been saying the whole time.
Was there ever any doubt?
No.
Yes, there was a lot of doubt in my mind. I was very concerned, but hey, that's in my mind, complete right.
Shout out to the crowd here late in Atlanta. We appreciate you guys getting behind Florida. We love you. Love you a lot. So the official rule is whatever shows up on the scoreboard takes precedence, and the scoreboard said 146, 145. Florida Mutineers take game 3, but that does not by any means mean this series is done. I think you might want to get ready for potential game 5 in the making.
And I'm very happy that's the decision again. Obviously, scoreboard 146, that's what you think, but it's just one of those weird situations where, I mean,
the game set draw.
It's a tough thing to do, so they took their time backstage, and that will obviously be the closest domination game we ever have, because the game didn't even end when it ended. It took another 20 minutes after the fact, but either way, Florida gonna be up 2-1, and it's a nice bounce back in the series that they've had.
I want to take a look at our damage dealt leaderboard presented by PlayStation 4. Slasher at the top, 3,037 damage dealt. Quavo Dashi right underneath. Then, of course, Prestini and Frosty. That was specifically from the Game 3 domination.
Cool. Clearly damage is not a game changer to make you win these maps, or at the very least, maybe it was TJ and JCap who were doing 0 damage on the map. Could have been a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but either way, the 146, 145, Florida get the win. I'm happy. I've wanted nothing more in my life in these moments. Just cast Hackney Hardpoint, man. Let's just
get
to the final match of the day, bro. Like, we got stuff to do tomorrow. Like, I want to watch the teams play, don't get me wrong, but I want to watch them actually play.
Well, we're almost there, champs. Don't worry. We're
close,
almost
Ben.
into match or game number 4. Of course, it will be a Hackney Yard hardpoint where, again, we've said it so many times already, but the Florida Mutineers overall stats combined, their KD is just so poor at 0.7 in hardpoint specifically. But the question for me now is, how does OpTic Gaming remain calm? How do they remain cool, calm, and collected heading into this game 4 to send us to a game 5? They cannot do what the Gorillas did.
And so I'm backtracking to the point we made on like map number 1 of something Rich was touching on of teams, if you falter very early on, a couple teams have already thought about making a change. We've seen Enables had moves made. Toronto's already made a swap as well.
Yep.
It might be a situation where if you come out of the first 2 events and you have 0 points on the board, OpTic Gaming, the pressure is obviously going to be on them. Florida in potentially the same boat. If they are just struggling at multiple events, it's going to be on the team's mind. It's going to be on the players' mind. So the pressure's on, especially for OpTic right now. These players need to come up big.
Hey, game 4 begins. We absolutely love it. And we'll start things off on board with Florida, who clutched up massively in that domination. Frosty on your screens. Will he find the first pick? No, he won't. However, it is important to note Florida spawning on the more favorable side here. They'll have P2 control. It's just about contesting maybe a 50-50 split here on P1.
Going to be a bit of a 50-50 split, but that just means that the pressure's on OpTic Gaming. If they can't get the rotation cleanly, they're going to need to get a ton of time, but obviously it's going to be problematic. Brasini was actually able to fly in and get 2 kills and make it a little bit messy, but it looks like OpTic Gaming have stabilized because obviously Florida, they don't want to overextend themselves.
And a strong start is so important for OpTic Gaming. Just to get their heads back in the game, and that's where you look at a player, for example, like JCap to do just that. The veteran on the team, he'll keep his young guns cool, calm, and collected, as, well, maybe Slasher could as well in the middle of a series, but with 15 seconds left on the first hill, it is Florida still with control of the spawns here for the second hill, and it's one of those which is just so tough to break, Jets.
Yeah, and I really just want to see someone from OpTic Gaming just take their time and try to make the smart play. Like TJ tried to sprint through about 5 players on Florida when he's one-shot. Doesn't really pay off. He gets killed, so he has to come back and try again. But once the hill pops, it's just about can someone finally get that breakthrough, get a little bit of pressure, and then have a lot of luck to actually spawn a player out.
First comes from TJ. He wins that fight. Trades, though, instant. And you can see Florida, they're willing to push further forward, forcing OpTic Gaming to spawn so far out. So the early OpTic Gaming lead, well, really just nullified, if nothing else. Still 30 seconds left on this hill, and honestly, Florida may just take the lead here, Chance.
Well, it may take the lead, or at least just bump it up by just a little bit. OpTic Gaming, again, if they can chip away anything at it, that's fine. But now that there's less than 30 seconds on the hill, OpTic Gaming are just going to be setting up for kills. And, well, if anyone's going to get kills, apparently it's going to be Havoc. The man was just on a 4 spree before he fell, but leading the lobby by quite a decent margin with 11 kills to his name.
11-5 is overall stat line for OpTic Gaming. The concerning stat line for me is Slasher there, 2-5 start. We'll see if he can turn things around, as Florida have, of course, taken the lead. It'll be about a 12-point lead as we rotate over towards the third hill, but OpTic Gaming ready and waiting on that side of the map.
You see Sky's just taking his sweet time. They're debating on trying to cut through mid or maybe go through L, but not a lot of map pressure at all for Florida. Havoc's going to be the lone man, but the lone man might actually just be enough. He gets through and at least chips away at some of this time from OpTic Gaming. Now Mox is actually able to flood in as well. OpTic Gaming now spawning all the way in the back, and that means Brasini, well, he can set up for some spawn kills.
This is going to be so hard now to break. The smokes are out. TJ will not win that fight. It's a nade. Now the pinch comes in from Slasher. There's one. That's about as free as you're ever going to get. The pre-fire towards bottom L, not enough to find the kill. And once again, Florida get inside the hill. For how long, though, as the nade from Quavo goes out, that's not going to find the kill.
And this is a really good hill by Florida as well. This is how Hackney plays a lot. It's whatever team wins the opening break, normally gets a lot of that time. Whoever wins the P2 gets a lot of time, but doesn't win the rotation in P3, and it's just a back and forth, a seesaw, if you will. So the fact that Florida was able to be the first team to really break that mold, and now they've taken the lead after the third hill and win the rotation, potentially, these are the good moments.
Well, OpTic actually spawned P1, which means the player inside the hill should know a pinch is coming in relatively quickly. Frosty will fall. It's JCap inside. He had to win that fight against Havoc to prolong his teammates to get inside the hill, which he's not able to do. TJ goes for a little bit of a parkour jump up top. Player didn't expect that. Havoc falls. However, Florida still with the advantage.
Hardcore game on point, but now you're going to win some gunfights. 2 players for OpTic Gaming, waiting for all the nades and stuns to collapse. And actually, since the stun comes through, Frosty tries to make the play. TJ will take the freest kill. He is going to get this entire game and try to stabilize inside the point.
Frosty 2-9 so far, halfway through the fourth hill. TJ inside the hill defending. He knows that at some point OpTic's going to have to try and push through. His teammates have been able to do that. It's actually JCap who was leading the way before being shut down right there by Prestini. There's a quick glance at the rotation. Slasher obviously may need to just buy a little bit of time. He finds one. Not going to find more as a little push comes through from Frosty for that scrap time. He finds his 3rd kill, but bear in mind, yes, his stats aren't great, but he does have 60 seconds of hill time to his name.
I will say that was just a pretty poor rotation coming out from OpTic Gaming. They had a couple opportunities, but Florida just took one lane and bullied straight through. And, well, now they get the close spawn, so already a 30-point lead. And you got Skies up top, and he can be a slow player, but that's because when he gets to the power positions, he begins to shred.
It's a 5 spree for him. He may find number 6, but unfortunately for him, the flank comes through. Dashy shuts him down. Havoc, though, flanking the flank. How quickly can OpTic Gaming react to that? Well, JCap not quick enough. TJ should know Havoc's there. Finally, the kill comes through. Dashy that shut him down. With still 20 seconds left on this hill. I mean, if it stays like this, Chance, we're going to have another nail-biting ending to a game in this series.
If there is somehow a tie in this hard point,
Stop!
I don't think
Stop!
it's not
Chance,
possible.
stop it! Stop
well,
it!
actually, it is possible if the time runs out, but not very likely. I don't think we're
Why
going to
would
see
you
one in
even
this
put
game.
that into the universe?
Why not? It's a fun time. But either way, OpTic Gaming, really nice job. Able to bounce back and retake the lead, but thinking in advance, this is basically exactly what we saw right at the opening break, except this time it's Florida inside the hill first, but they're also on the side of the map they want to be on.
And it's so important here to OpTic Gaming manage to break through, not necessarily even on the hill, but the spawns for the second hill. It's going to be crucial for them, because that's where Florida picked up so much time, and as you expect, really, on this map. But OpTic start, step one, break the hill, get control, so you at least limit the amount of overall damage that can be done. Florida still spawning P2 side. The flank comes through from Havoc. He's traded out. Now, where's OpTic Gaming going to spawn? Unfortunately for them, still P3. Someone has to push through, but Florida now doing work inside the hill as well.
Florida putting on, and again, if they just come away with this, even with the rough tide, let alone a nice little lead, which Skies is trying to help him out as he was able to pick up 3 before Dashy takes him down. This might turn into a blowout a little bit quickly.
And this is a much better game from Prestini as well, sitting at 18 and 17. No slow start from him. Very, very well, as Skies knows he has to drop back here for P2. No one from OpTic Gaming was able to break the Florida Mutineers lines, and that lead they have now is going to get much, much bigger.
Unless OpTic Gaming can pull something off, they got a nice little spread across the map, and they're able to get the first 3 kills. Havoc was able to find 2.
Doesn't matter.
Gets the 3rd on the cross as well, and 1 man for OpTic Gaming was able to get through. He got cut down immediately. The first push is stuffed.
That's such a good reaction there from Havoc. And honestly, if you're OpTic Gaming, you should know exactly where Florida's going to spawn. Still close to P2. You're not going to spawn them out just by shutting them down once. You're going to have to at least full wipe them twice. If any chance of the spawns is Havoc putting on in Atlanta 28 and 18. His stats. Skies is 24 and 12. We talked about their abysmal KD overall in hardpoint today. Well, Havoc alone is trying to turn that around.
Yeah, I think that clip sums up TJ's year so far. It is a nice attempt, but not too great in the end. And again, we talked about how important P2 is, that they come in even with a little bit of a tie, let alone a lead, then the score is just going to get out of control. Now they're going to be up by, well, just about 70.
This OpTic Gaming isn't careful, could end here, or at least in the next hill. They need to start playing flawlessly, get themselves back into the game, and contest the next hill. And it rotates in 40 seconds, at least a 50-50 split, nothing else.
And this is a really good setup right now for OpTic. Unfortunately, the player in the hill maybe got chopped down by a nade while he was inside. Maybe it was TJ, but they had a good setup just before that. Either way, still able to stabilize, and Florida is keeping him out of the hill, which is great for them, but at the same time, the game isn't quite out of control yet. OpTic Gaming absolutely still in this.
Still 25 seconds, and Florida just goes straight through mid-map. That's going to be Havoc inside the hard point. And they're just looking for the kill. Slasher doesn't win that fight, and Florida, they may actually just get that entire scrap time. That is going to put them so close to closing this game out. And the problem OpTic Gaming has is no one's been able to rotate to the new hill either. Florida in the driving seat to close this series out.
You're going to have to get a massive number of kills right here, back-to-back. The teamwork needs to be on point. Quite a few players from OpTic Gaming going to be cutting through mid-map, but look at the body stack from Florida. They got 3 players just gunning them down. Mox and Havoc able to find 2 apiece, and now Skies up top is able to take down 1 and do some damage on Kenny.
That's a huge win. A huge win indeed, but Florida are inside the hill, 15 seconds. All they need to close this one out 3-1 and keep OpTic LA on 0 CDL points for the season so far. Can OpTic, though, mount the comeback? In flies Prestini! There's a double! Can he find the triple? Not gonna happen, but Frosty's there to trade. In flies Dashy, he trades as well. OpTic have control, but for how long? This is when you need Dashy to just go off, be your superstar.
You can give away 8, but you gotta get to the new hill, and you got Mox being annoying right now. Florida, they have the control on the new hill. 10 seconds left on this one. They're gonna be fine here. They can give away 8 before they have to break.
You have to just rotate. There's no point even playing for that final scrap time. You have to push through, and you have to win the first round of gunfights. Dashy, has he been able to do that with 2 kills in his name? Florida, you need 5 more points. Can OpTic Gaming contest? They can through the back door. In flies TJ. OpTic break once again, but it's not over. The superstar Havoc almost being a chance to make the play. 38 and 24. He sits at an unbelievable game, but OpTic have broken. How long can they hold?
And they got the power positions as well. Slasher up top. He can watch both sides. Players that try to crawl through. You go up to him. He's able to find 1.
There's a flank as well coming through. It's going to be Jacob, I believe, who will be able to find find at least one. That's Skies. So OpTic are good. Bear in mind, they cannot win it here. They will need to rotate and break into the new hill to have any chance of making this comeback.
They do have time, though, and at the same time, though, they can't let anyone from Florida slip through the cracks, so they have a lot at their plate. But now you can see Florida beginning to set up at the new hill. Last time, they could give away 8. This time, OpTic can only give away 4, and they have to get in. It will come down to people.
Oh, Quavo, the double. He finds Skies, and that's 3 players dead. There's only 2 players from Florida inside the hill, as Jacob goes for a pinch as well. Mox has to go huge, but in flies Slusher. He finds one Havoc for the trade. Dashi instantly trades that out. 246, 231. It's the Florida Mutineers, and they are a double for Prestini again. And Florida close it out 3-1. An unbelievable series.
An unbelievable series, Ben, and a bit of stress relief from Florida. They live to see another day. Talk about the bounce back in this series, but let's think about it. A blowout from OpTic Gaming in map number 1.
Yep.
A round 11 that required so many different little plays from Florida to stay alive in it. The draw of a win in the domination, and then a hard point that comes down to the wire. Florida, their heart has to be racing after that one, but again, they will see Sunday.
A huge win for them. We'll take a look at our scoreboard. I believe Dashi dropped 36 kills, 25 deaths, but it doesn't matter. Havoc 40 and 26. But honestly, the man making the plays at the end of that game was Prestini. That was 3 double kills in 3 hills, which essentially secure Florida that win.
And there's just, I mean, there's so many kills towards the end. Like, it's one bullet from any number of these different players can give the opening, but they had the clutch, they took the time. I mean, they put themselves in such a good spot. You had 70 seconds left, like rotating into like a P3. Right. You're just in such a good spot. So at that point, it's credit to OpTic's even keeping it close, but that's a game, Florida. There's just no way they lose.
Unfortunately for OpTic Gaming LA, they are out. We'll take a look at our Sunday schedule presented by the U.S. Army. First game of the day, Minnesota Røkkr versus Paris Legion. Following that, London Royal Ravens versus Florida Mutineers. Of course, the winners will drop down to play FaZe and Huntsmen. And then we'll see who will be in the Atlanta home series final. A crazy, crazy final series of the day, but our hype battle concluded, so we actually have our final chance.
And this is what I'm excited for. I mean, let's be realistic. You got Gwit and Scissors going against Blaze and Dirty, and these are guys that on the FaZe clan, some of them have insane skill, most of which with a sniper. So if those rounds ever pop up in the hype battle, Ben, that's what'll get the crowd going.
Oh, an absolutely fantastic way to close out day 1 here in Atlanta, and I believe we can send it now down to Lottie with the man of the moment for me. It's Prestini.
Thank you so much, gents. Indeed, man of the moment, Prestini, thank you so much for joining me here, and congratulations on that incredible victory there. A little bit of a close shave. OpTic nearly had you at the last moments there, but you held it nice and strong, like we know you can do. But I've got to ask you about that game break that we saw happening, that contested, that potential draw, 145 to 146, I believe it was. Talk to me about what goes through your team's mind there when you feel like you have that victory so close, but it was potentially contested.
We got news, and I figured I saw something earlier this year that would kind of contest a win like that, but I expected to get the win. We had more points in the end, so I think overall, if you have more points, you win. So I figured we were going to get the win.
100%. And I want to talk to you about your opponent at the moment. So OpTic Gaming LA, of course, haven't had the best run so far this season. Talk to me about coming into this match. What do your team talk about to try and prepare going against certain different teams? Do you treat teams differently when you get up on the stage?
I mean, there's a confidence boost in terms of who you play, but other than that, no, we don't treat anyone differently. Every team is, they're in the pro league. They deserve to be here. So we take everything seriously. We don't take anything lightly. And, we expected to come out and get the win because we came out shaky this morning, and that wasn't us. Definitely not me. So I'm glad we got the win under our belt, and I feel like tomorrow we have a better chance at beating Ravens.
Definitely. Well, if you're having rough times sometimes up there, you guys did perform epically considering that. So I'm excited to see where you go next in the season. But I've got to say, everyone on Twitter has seen the love that you're sharing with your brother. That's going to be a difficult matchup for you guys, potentially tomorrow if you do meet in both groups and make it through. Talk to me about how you're feeling again, going against a former teammate, but not only that, a family member.
It's interesting. Obviously, we've never been on different teams before and coming up against each other. I really want to make it to them. Tomorrow, I'm determined to. Hopefully we come out with the fire and beat Ravens, so that's our first round matchup. I would love it. It'd be a dream come true for me. So tomorrow, I'm going to have a better day. I had a really sloppy day myself. And you know, if I can turn up, I feel like we have a really good chance.
Amazing stuff. Well, thank you so much, Pristinian. Best of luck tomorrow. Epic performance and bring your A game. That was your instant reaction presented by PlayStation. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure bringing you your Saturday here at Atlanta. Obviously, the home of FaZe. This incredible roster is going to be bringing their A game tomorrow. But where will the rest of the team stand? We'll be back bringing you the CDL Game Day presented by Game Fuel. So don't go anywhere too much. Maybe get some rest, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.